gonna give you 10 book recs that will really get you into reading. I feel like sometimes people just haven't been recommended the right book, and I truly feel like there's a book out there for everyone that'll get them into reading. So I'm gonna show you guys 10 different books, but I feel like there's lots of different types of romance readers. There's either the Colleen Hoover-esque, where you're gonna read maybe like It Ends With Us, and something that kind of gives your heart an ooey gooey feeling at the end of the book. It's like a, I don't know, heartwarming tale that just like makes you happy. There's definitely gonna be struggle in there, but like overall it's gonna be like a happy ending, and it's kind of like true escapism. Or you are a Sally Rooney reader who maybe you love like books like Normal People, or books that give you kind of like a different take on the world by the time you finished it, or you're feeling like kind of just, I don't know, moody and thoughtful and like those vibes. I feel like you will love all of these recs. I'm gonna give 5 book recs for people who love books by Colleen Hoover, and 5 book recs for people who love Sally Rooney's writing. So let's get in this video, and I hope you guys love all the recs. First 5 books are gonna be all books that you will love if you love Colleen Hoover. And if you haven't read any of Colleen Hoover's books, I feel like they're really good for just, I don't know, true escapism. They're really easy to read. A lot of the topics are a little harder, but I feel like the ending usually has like a nice little wrap up. But I feel like if you found this video, you probably are either looking to find more books like Colleen Hoover's writing or something like that. So the first book that I'm going to show you guys is this book by Lucy Score, and it's called Things We Never Got Over, which this literally popped off on the internet whenever it first came out. I personally loved the writing so much. The storyline, I think the main character, he wasn't necessarily my favorite because I feel like he was a little pushy, and he was like a little much, but I feel like the writing itself is very similar to Colleen Hoover's writing. It is a thicker book, so I am going to show you guys some like faster reads that are not necessarily like as many pages as this one, but this book gives a lot of dialogue, and I feel like a lot of Colleen Hoover's books offer dialogue, so it's really easy to get through them. So I feel like you'll really like this one. This book I feel like you will absolutely love if you love Colleen Hoover's writing, because it's so easy to freaking read. This is a book that I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It's called Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I love this book because it is a true childhood friends to lovers book, and that's like one of my favorite tropes. And you really get to see the 2 characters just really grow up and like fall in love with each other, and there's definitely some strife in there because there's something that kind of pulls them apart, and you'll learn about that as you read. But just the writing is really easy. It just feels kind of like YA, but it's not necessarily YA. It's YA meaning young adult, if you like, I don't know, are here on book 2 for the first time. But it's a super easy read, one of my favorites. I literally just bought the special edition of this book because I want to read it again in Elliot's perspective, who is the guy in this book. So read this if you love Colleen Hoover's books, because this is a really fun and heartwarming read. This book reminds me so much of Colleen Hoover's writing because the banter is so fun, and it's just like a really quick read that I feel like you'll fall in love with. There's also a lot of dialogue, and there's also like these little emails that you'll see throughout the book, which I feel like anything that's added into a book just makes me want to like read it even more. Like little emails and notes and things like that that kind of like make you feel like the book is more like realistic. But this is a book that follows 2 30-somethings who meet on a blind dating app, and you kind of follow them online, and you like really root for them to like meet in person, but come to find out they've actually already met in person, and they do not like each other, but they don't know that they like have already met because they've been emailing under like different names on their like dating profile. So it's a really cute one. It's a really nice romantic comedy. There's definitely lots of laughs. I feel like you'll really love this, and you'll read it super fast. And it's a really quick read. It's under 300 pages. It's like 200 and I think like 75, yeah, 280. So I feel like you'll read this really fast and fall in love with it. This is by Jasmine Guillory, and it is a book that is kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I feel like makes it even more like fun to read, because you're kind of like already familiar with the story, but it's definitely different. This is written by one of my favorite authors as well, and I just think that it's like a really fun book. And again, this is a quick one, less than 300 pages. It's 200 and, oh no, it is actually 300. It's like right at 300, almost like 312, but it's still 313, but it still is really, really quick. Pretty much this girl, Isabel, she works for a publishing company and she has to get this guy to finish writing his book. And so she like drives out to his house and is like, we need you to like finally write this book. Like he's like a rich like guy who it seems like he doesn't really care about anything. And she's like, you need to like write this book. Like we're gonna drop you from our publishing house. And he's like, well, I'll write the book like if you will stay here with me while I write it. And she was like, okay, I guess I'll stay. So she stays and writes it with, or helps him write it. But he is kind of like a Beast character from Beauty and the Beast, where he's like brooding, grumpy, and she's like happy and like sunshine, and it's just a really, really cute book. This is also with, it's a meant to be novel, which is with Disney Books. So again, it's a really, really cute story, super fun, and I feel like you're gonna love this one. This book is one I actually recently finished, and this literally gives me rom-com vibes. Like, I'm not kidding. It gives all the rom-com vibes. And what's funny is the girl who is the main character in this book, she actually loves like watching rom-coms. So it's just funny that it like all kind of like connects like that, because it's like written literally like you would watch it in a movie, which I feel like makes it really easy to read. And I feel like this is another book. There's lots of different lists and things written in it, and it is just like really fun. It's about this girl who she like really likes this guy, and she's pretty much trying to like change every part of herself to get this guy to like her. And her neighbor next door named Wes, they like always argue about the most random things. She pretty much is like, will you help me like get this guy to like me? And he was like, yeah, I guess. And she's like, I'll give you this parking spot that we both want, like if you help me. And he was like, whatever. Comes to find out that like he's not as unbearable as you would think. And she kind of has to think about like why she's trying to get this guy to like her when she's changing so many things about herself that she loves, like the way she dresses or like things that she likes. So this is really cute. I feel like you will love this one. It really reminds me of a movie, so if you're a big like rom-com watcher, I feel like you'll really like this one. Now that I've showed you the 5 books that I feel like you will love if you like Colleen Hoover's writing, I'm gonna show you guys the books that you'll love if you like reading Sally Rooney's writing. So the first book, and there's 5 of them, again, because I feel like a 5 is just like a really good number, but the first book is Daisy Jones and the Six. This book I feel like took the world by storm, and it actually comes out next month on I think Prime Video or something like that, maybe HBO Max, and a TV show. So you have to read this now, but it's written in a really easy way. It's written like you are pretty much watching people give like an interview to someone, so it's like all dialogue. And I feel like I learned so much about myself, the world, just by reading this. And it is about Daisy Jones and the Six, which is a band that was in the late 60s, and they kind of go through the whole band's trajectory, and there's just so much in this book, so read it. I also feel like another honorable mention is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's another incredible book that really makes you think about life. So if you already read this one, read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but this one is definitely the first one that you have to pick up. 7 Husbands, wow, not 7 Husbands, 7 Days in June. Wow, I'm literally still thinking of Taylor Jenkins Reid. But this book is by Tia Williams, and it's a Reese's Book Club book. I picked this up a while ago and fell in love with it. It is very, very deep, and there's a lot of trauma in this book, but I feel like there's also a lot of beauty in it as well. And this book is about Eva, who she's a writer, and this guy Shane is a writer, and they knew each other in the past, and they've been writing about each other secretly in the books that they've been writing for years. And they pretty much like had a really hard past together, but then something kind of tore them apart. And then they end up reconnecting. And it's written over 7 days, which I actually didn't even realize it was written over 7 days, because literally this book is so deep and it will take you on a journey of yourself and of the characters. And just definitely check the trigger warnings before reading this one, but this one is such a good one and one of my favorites. If you like Sally Rooney's writing, go pick this book up. Like literally go pick it up now. It's called Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino, and it says a love, hate, love story. And it's like love is crossed out, hate's crossed out, and it says love, hate, love story. This book is about pretty much a like second chance romance. These two people, and it's like a misconnection, because these two people are like really connected to each other in college, and they have this just absolutely like heart-wrenching, beautiful love that like seems like it's like a once-in-a-lifetime love, and then something pulls them apart. And so this guy, he kind of seems like he never really ends up getting the life that he wanted to have with this person, and he ends up seeing the girl on a train, and he's just like, oh my god, I have to find her. Like, it's been years, I haven't talked to her since college, like we have to reconnect. So he like searches all over to find her. And then you kind of see them reconnecting 15 years later, but then as they're reconnecting in the present time, you also get to like see their past. So this book will make you feel something, and it will make you feel deeply and think about love and true love, and it's really beautiful. This book is also, I think, set in New York City, I'm pretty sure. Which I feel like, yeah, it's New York City dorm room, and then also in the future they're in New York City. So it is just a really, really good book. Pick this one up if you love Sally Rooney. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars when I read it this year, and just looking at it literally makes me like emotional just like looking at it, because it's so good. It's about a couple who got divorced, and they went through so much together. Definitely check the trigger warnings on this one as well, but pretty much you get to see their relationship, co-parenting, and how they are navigating being divorced. And pretty much they tried everything to save their marriage, and it just seemed like they couldn't. And then it seemed like both of their worlds were just going to continue to be separate from one another, and something brings them together, and they're just drawn back to one another. And you get to see how they navigate healing together, healing separately, the trauma that they've been through, and just I can't get over this book. It is something beautiful to behold. You will love reading Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I don't know why I'm smiling, because I bawled like a baby on this book. Also rated this book 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like, reading this book took me, like, I read it so fast, but it took me on a literal emotional journey where just opening the book, I can feel the feelings again. And one thing that really stuck with me in this book was how Autumn, she said that some things are sad and beautiful at the same time, and her boyfriend at the time was like, what are you talking about? Like, there's nothing beautiful about like sadness or sad things. And she's like, no, like sometimes things are just beautifully sad. And there's so many good quotes in this book, by the way. But after reading this book, I get why the author put that quote in there, because this book is so beautifully sad. Like, it will literally break your heart. You will bawl like throughout it, at the end of it. It's a phenomenal book, but it's about Autumn and Finn. They're pretty much inseparable. They do everything together, and then as they grow up, they kind of grow up in 2 different directions, but still stay connected. And it says, as time passes, Autumn realizes she might not get another chance to make things right before it's too late, because they end up growing apart, but they still, again, are connected. Like, just read this book. Just read it. You'll read it super fast, because there's a lot of dialogue. I think it's around like 400 pages, but the words are like really, I don't know, it's just like a really easy book to read. There's a lot of dialogue and things like that. And you can see like how like separated the sentences are. There's like a lot of space. So I don't know, read it, you'll love it. It's beautiful, it's one of my favorites. Just read it, and tell me what you think of it. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed all of these recs. I've read every single one of these books, and if you want like more videos like this where I give specific recs for specific types of readers or genres or whatever, let me know. I rated some of these books 5 stars, but I also rated some of them like less than 5 stars. But I do know that if you are a Sally Rooney reader, like the Sally Rooney books that I shared are very similar to that writing style. And if you are a Colleen Hoover reader, those style of books that I shared with you are those like style that you're gonna love. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know what your favorite book recs are below, because I'm always looking for new ones. Bye guys.